Radio check, radio check. Work is in the AO. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Glad you can join us today for some sport manager question mark. Why is it not showing up on my screen? Stand by. The heck? Let me just transition this a bit. Get that on capture. Yeah, I did. Why is it not showing up? Weird. Let me just troubleshoot a bit. Well, while we do that, let me just explain the situation here. Well, remember a couple of days ago we managed to complete the 2024 season, and we're now in the 2025 season. We managed to reach our main objective of avoiding. There it is. We were on the previous stream. We managed to reach our objective of avoiding a promotion with our currently middle rate racing team. Mostly because most of the parts that most of the buildings that we need to our cars were still not available. Now we're doing the 2025 season, but by my own mistakes, I actually forgot to set the most important thing, which is a backup save point from the very start of the preseason, so that if things actually start badly, I can just reset from the very beginning and avoid most of those problems. But because I forgot them this time, we'll have to go ahead with some pretty poor options. Now, the first thing did that I actually got wrong would probably be with the pre over the chassis prep work, since I picked up some pretty bad setups apparently after I read things up. Then the second and most important thing is that I forgot to set up a save point before I clicked a target for the 2025 season. Now we went down to 4th, which is a bit lower than our previous target of 3rd. Because of that, our budget is a bit lower as well, which means we don't really have a lot saved up for next season. Well, I don't think I'll have enough money by the end of the season to get the road car factory that we've been saving up for in the past 2 seasons of this career mode. Now, we're currently working a bit more through the runs, and I'm very, very anxious about how things are gonna go in the next few races. So, we're going to first try out a couple of stages. If things go well, we might continue with our current setup, but if things kind of fail as they are right now, we might have to restart the 2025 season from a save point from behind it, which means we'll have to go back to renegotiating our mechanics. Anyway, let's get into it. We've got the Black Sea, and it's going to be a 30-lap race, which with the current setup we have would mean it's going to be a 2-stop one, so it's going to be 11 and 21 as is the usual. It looks like we have the best engine around for some reason. Tire compounds are going to be super soft and soft, which means, yeah. Okay. Positive feedback from the mechanics about a factory. Absolutely love coming into the factory. If you don't recognize her, Jessica Lag is one of our 2 new mechanics on the field. She's mechanic number 1, I believe. Which means she's working with Vosu. She's working with Vosu. They've only been together for 7 weeks, but because of Vosu's issues having his wife and all, there's a -10 to the relationship bonus, which means he'll have a long time getting this up. She's got a boost in concentration and reliability compared to our previous mechanic, but her parts fixes, pit stops, chemistry, and performance are pretty low at the start, which could affect us in the early season. Now, she's got at least 4.9 maximum on her stats, but the problem is she starts pretty low, So there's gonna be a lot of growth that needs to be done if she wants to provide better benefits for Vosu. So I think we'll probably lose Vosu in the next 2 seasons, actually. The other new mechanic we got is Aiden Kelly. Kelly? Can read these Swedish names. Now he's gonna be the mechanic for Malene Perez, and he's gonna be in charge of our pit stop crew. But unfortunately, he's actually pretty aged, 58, and then it also his pit stop levels will drop significantly. But hopefully, that'll be enough to keep us going through most of the season until at least we find a new set of mechanics for the next season. They'll have good pit stop performances as well. Most of his stats are going down, but I think that won't be much of an issue if he's going to be here for 1 season. Other than that, oh yeah, okay. Front wing is finished, so who do you give this to? Parts improvement. Um, let's give the new front wing to Perez for the time being, and then switch that around. We've only got 3 days to the race. Let's increase the reliability a bit more. We can't really do improvements in performance right now, so we'll have to pray that it'll be enough. Then for the next race, which is going to be in Munich, we're gonna need better low-speed corners again, which means I'm going to make another set of front wings. This time it's going to be for Vosu. I also need better engines, but that'll be for the next race afterwards. Okay, what do we want? Low speed corners plus 20. Low speed corners. Yeah, I'll go with this maybe. The extra build time isn't exactly a problem since we have extra. Well, this is going to be next season. Not next season. It's going to be for the next race, which is in Munich. So we're going to work with what we have right now. This is going to cost us a measly $760,000. Well, for the time being, that counts as measly, but we also have to worry about the fact that our production isn't exactly as fast as we want it to be. So okay, where are we gonna go? We got 3 days. Our pit crew is currently managed by our expert, who's kind of old, but he's still pretty much in the fight, I think. We still got a couple of other people we can get to if things go. Well, unfortunately, Woodbridge has been, well, left out to dry. We let him retire since a good deal of his pit stop bonuses are already going pretty low, and they're not growing as fast as I want them to be. And well, I know we're currently going with an older guy, but we could probably keep him for at least 1 season. Let's pray it stays good for that time. Could we give him a nice free touch about birthday? Sure, okay. 95,000. Yeah, $95,000. We'll go with that. Now we're in the Black Sea. Now remember, our drivers aren't exactly top of the line, mostly. Our car, while being supposedly best on the grid right now, is not gonna last for much longer, so let's see if we can actually run this properly, at least for 2 or 3 runs. Well, let me save a bit first. Fortunately, not a lot of them are giving us the money we need, so let's pray that Trans-Antarctic we can get Trans-Antarctic bonuses for this one, so we can get some money out of it. Remember, it's going to be a 2-stop race. First, let's see if we can get the settings right, so that we avoid poor results here. Brain isn't making me any confident either. Well, Steve's feedback is 16. Wait, was his feedback always 16? Looks like it's going to be not too damp that we'll need inters, so we can probably focus on that. Bit extra on speed balance, some more. Yeah, something like that, and we'll keep him at softs. Now, Buklova, as is the usual, be driving with the... Well, we can probably put them both in supers this time. Let's try and switch around the tires so that we can at least get some bonuses up. I think it'll be faster if we put our drivers in this with the same tire compound, since we don't really use the bonuses that much for tires. Whoops. So just increase speed balance, stiffness, get some more downforce in there. Yep. Keep her in super softs as well. Now let's go and practice this. Now remember, our current tire compounds aren't exactly top of the line. And then there's also the issue with tire wear. So let's pray that the current setup isn't going to be way worse than the previous season, because if that's the case, we're gonna be done for. Setup knowledge isn't going as fast as I want it to be as we go through the first 2 minutes of practice, so that's going to be a problem. Feels like I just got the right arrow set up. I somehow don't believe that. Who's that up on front? Well, Siru is getting a purple. That's encouraging at least, but I don't think that's going to be good for the actual race performance, because most of the time when we do well in practice, we actually play awfully in the race itself, and that's going to be a major issue. So far, we're currently 1-2. I don't know if that's going to stay, though. Okay, here's one of the new guys. That's Funker. From... Is that Norway? Remember, Funker with Silver Racing. It's one of the new guys. Silvera, El Sadat, and Engelhardt have jumped over ahead. Wait, Engelhardt? You mean Falco Engelhardt is back in... He's back in the European Racing Series. And with Garuda Racing to boot. Yep, everybody's getting ahead of us right now in the standings, mostly because everybody went for inters. I don't know if that's going to be a problem for the actual race, unfortunately, because if it actually gets wet, we won't get any tire bonuses until we actually get some work on those inters, or if we're a bit brave wets. I highly doubt that's going to be the case, though. Uhi, now there's another new name. I don't recognize this guy. From Iceland, currently driving for ZRT Motorsport. Revadero, yet another new name. She's an Argentinian who got signed up for Archer BMR. And then there's the other one, Clark Smith, who's now the other driver for Garuda Racing. Looks like Garuda shook up their driving team. There's Strambi from Ozu. Ozu really having a hard time staying in the race, or at least from the previous season, they weren't performing as good as they did back in the 2017 season, at least. Now, we're now both way behind on practice. Might be a bit of a bad sign, but Our drivers are happy with the current setup. Things might change towards the end of practice, so we'll have to hope that they can actually do something out of this. Now, the dampness on the track is almost gone, and our drivers are really starting to fly. Bukalova registering excellent sector boost. Okay, less of a balance towards top speed. I'm gonna switch her around a bit. She's the one that's slowing down in knowledge spaces here. A bit more acceleration. Yep, it's a speed balance problem. Her downforce and handling are beautiful. We just need to cut down on the acceleration a bit. Cut up on the acceleration a bit, actually. Go around there. Two strengths and two switches up. It's going to be 63% towards top speed. Or the 63% ratio, mostly. And now Vosu registers top of the laps thanks to the drying of the road. Looks like it's going to be dry for the rest of the practice. And now our race trim is at level 2. And Vosu is coming in for an in-lap. He's still in medium as we go towards the last 4 minutes of practice, though, so that's going to be an issue. Downforce is good, speed balance is great, and his handling is excellent, so we need to work up an adjustment on the speed balance, I suppose. Maybe a bit more towards high? Yeah, okay, somewhere around that general area. Let's see if he works out. We won't have any time to switch to soft tires, so we'll just have to stick with this until the end of practice, which is only down to 3.25, or 3.5 minutes. Bukalov's now starting a new flying lap. That's a bit too close there. Okay, there's a slight boost to the speed balance for Bukalova. No complaints on her side for that one. Excellent record there. 1 minute 13, that's 1 second behind Vosu now. And now we're seeing some belated, too much angle. We're seeing some belated change in tires from the other racers. With only 2 minutes left in practice, we don't know how much that's gonna affect their strategies. Looks like our race trim is almost up to level 3 at the last minute, though. Just have to adjust his downforce a bit. Looks like we went a little too aggressive with the front wing. Okay, that should be enough. See if we can actually run this as we only got 1 minute left. Last minute wetness here. Hopefully it won't affect our driving much. As we now go into 30 seconds. I don't think Vosu will have a chance to jump up to get another run out of this as we now hit the last 10 seconds. Yeah, his last time is counted. He'll be number 1 on the timesheets again. But that's not exactly looking too good for actual race results. At least it should give some. He should get some good feedback. Ooh, excellent. The downforce is now boosted up to excellent. I think we're running on a good setup here. Let's hope it actually lasts. I'm not too confident because the parts reliability is still pretty low. So here's hoping. Oof, Zampelli having some trouble again. Defying the laws of physics, as a fan puts it. No, while Vosu is feeling confident, I'm not too sure he's going to be doing real well in the actual race. And post here from Skoda and Edstrom. You're only a true fan if you watch practice sessions. Another elitist here. And Watson Industries driver set the pace in practice here with Vosu leading the way. Lap time of 1 minute 12.203 was good enough to leave his rivals scratching their heads. Meanwhile, Strami's car finished fourth for Ozu, and we're hoping the strong form continues into the race. I'm going to assume Stromby is going to win this one. Let's just hope we can actually at least get second so we can get the bonus, which will be really great in helping our team ride through most of the race. But that's a bit of a... Oh, speed balance went down. Well, no, speed balance is decent. I think we'll stick with that. I know it's not exactly okay. Let's just go for high on the engine types. Hopefully it won't kill our cars. It's going to be a really wet run for at least 8 or 7 laps, so here we hope we should keep them alive. Oh no, that was a bad start from both our drivers. Late acceleration, which drops Wasu to 15th, Perez down to 13th now. Most of the new guys seem to be showing up okay. Coley and Silvera up front there. Ugh. Wasu drops significantly to 20th thanks to the slow corner where he hit the brakes a little too badly. Too much of a traffic jam in the middle, both of our drivers having a hard time going through most of that. And Perez drops down to 13th again, trying to get past the Ozu, but Strambi manages to block her at the last corner. And now Silvera shows her skill up there as she scores fastest lap out of the first lap. Though Engelhardt seems to be having no runs with that as he takes over the spot. Perez stuck at 12th. Nope, she's going for an 11th now. But Griffin and now Schober got past. Griffin is in the back, blocking Vosu and keeping him away from the rest of the pack. Meanwhile, Perez is having trouble getting further ahead from Strambi, mostly because Schober is in the way. It's going to be a fight for 11 for most of lap 2 by the looks of it, as both the European drivers having a bit of a exchange of shots, shall we say. Schober is definitely doing some excellent defending there, keeping Perez out of the line. Looks like the tires are also having a bit of a run through. Gonna have to push them a bit further as their heating is getting a little too close. Ooh! Perez finally gets past Strambi and Schober, and she is now at 10th. Can she jump a bit higher? A bit of a traffic jam there on the lower end. Davis kept her away from 9th, while Clark Smith kept her in the outer corner, making it a bit more difficult to overtake. It looks like she's going to lose significantly here again, as Schober gets back at her in the home corner, and we start lap 3. Meanwhile, Vosu has finally gotten one over the Wonder Kid Griffin, was now with Zampelli Engineering. Remember how Griffin was doing wonders for his previous team in the in the 2024 season. Perez having trouble, and she's now down to 12th, mostly because Mazzoncini, the other new driver for Dragon Race team, is now in there. Some numbers on Mazzoncini's set up 82%. Oof. Perez has taken over Mazzoncini's spot again. Things are a bit soaked. We'll have to switch tires at the usual time, however. Ooh! How's Vosu doing? Vosu currently slowly climbing through the ranks. He's taken over Balkan's 18th spot. Up front, we got Silvera still keeping the lead. Well, right behind her, Reeves has taken over Rivadero's second place spot, and Chu is going up to 4th. Pretty good run from the Thai driver who's been doing really well in the past few seasons. Now Perez losing her 11th spot to Amanchi again. She's trying desperately to keep it up on the long corner. Too bad she can't hold it, and she's now down to 13th. Astambi, helped out by his teammate, takes over a couple there. And now we're starting lap 4. Thanks to some traffic on the home corner, Stromby got left behind. And now Perez is at 11th again, though Clark Smith definitely looking for an overtake. Almost snatched it in the home corner, but Perez is well on the way to defending. Vosu, meanwhile, has taken over Funker in Englehart's spot, and he is now at 16th. It's going to be a bit of a trouble run to go through this area. Now, things aren't looking too bad for Perez, but she's still stuck in the mid-pack, lower end of the mid-pack, actually. Can't break through past the top 10, as most of the drivers are still... Ooh, where the hell did that come from? Vosu, like a pocket rocket, suddenly jumping up to 13th, taking over Clark Smith and Mazzoncini's positions. Just blocked by Stromby, and she'll be 1-2ing with Perez at this rate. Excellent start, excellent run there from the Estonian as we start lap 5. Looks like giving the Ozu Racing team quite a warm welcome to the European Racing Series here. Vosu, tire in tire with Stromby. And now Vosu has jumped up to 12th. Excellent fight there. Schober, meanwhile, is keeping Perez in check. As Perez is now up to 10th. Vosu is just behind them. Perez almost bumped into Amachi's car there. Tire heating not exactly going too well. At least the tire wear isn't as bad too. Now on the home corner, Vosu almost got Schober out of the way, but Schober did some excellent defending and is keeping the Estonian at bay before we start lap 6. Up in front, not much of a change between Silveira and Reeves. Rivadera, Chu, and Koi also kept their spots. El Sadat, who's been a bit of in a suffering setup from the previous season, has switched over to Archer BMR and is actually looking pretty well. If things are correct, though, he's going to retire at the end of the season, which could spell a lot of changes for the ERS environment at this rate. Oh, speaking of changes, we got Vosu up to 11th here, taking over Schober's spot on that slow corner. Perez, meanwhile, still having trouble getting past Amachi, I mean. And now approaching the last few corners before we switch out to the home run. Gonna have to make the tires a bit colder if we want to last until at least lap 11 here. They're pretty much warm enough. Ooh, looks like Vosu is looking to overtake his teammate again. Definitely in the mood for trying to catch the Drivers' Championship after he had to concede some points, just so we can avoid relegation, or a promotion rather. That's Lalpeklua, isn't it? Yep, Lalpeklua has just dropped to 9th as Amachi gets ahead of him. Oh no, it is her. Lalpeklua, pretty much one of our more dangerous but pretty much underperforming competitors from the last season, doing really well in most of the mid-game, but suffering extensively in the late game. Silveira scores another fastest lap point here. Looks like we might have to change a bit early. Not exactly a good spot, but I think we can at least keep it for longer. Speaking of lasting, here's Perez snatching 9th. Always overtaking, and the slow corners here. Vosu, meanwhile, getting left behind as Lalpeklua is trying to keep things higher on her end. And now we're getting a bit more gaps between Perez and Lalpeklua on the straights. Silveira, once again, the fastest lap driver, while also keeping her current pole position. The expected race leader, was it Stromby, is currently 12th, and playing a little too hard, though not that hard on his tires. Definitely not doing as great as the pundits were talking about. Looks like we're having tire wear now. Just gonna have to keep it safe for at least one more lap, and then we can switch Perez out. Let's look at what the other guys are doing. Silvera still out in the dry with 37% on her tires. Reeves also doing the same, up at 36. Rivadero down at 28th, but she's also in inters. Let's see if Silvera will switch out already, or if no, Silvera is still driving one more lap. Looks like we might be able to do our one. Oh no, not these guys. Stramley and Clark Smith have already switched out their tires. Everybody else is still on inters. Let's see if the other guys on the back will do the same. We'll probably make some laps here, but we need to keep our tires out. Looks like we'll have to switch Perez up, or switch her out to soft for the time being. And keep the fuel up. Yeah, keep the fuel up. Now, I can't fix the other parts without losing a good deal of time. Since we don't have quick fixes on, we'll have to make do with this. Hopefully the parts do not give out. Perez will concede her 9th place spot here, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Vossou is already down on points. We'll have to switch him out on the 11th. El Sadat getting overtaken by Perez there, despite the fact that he's already in conserve mode. Ooh, we're seeing problems here. Lalpiclua is already calling for distress. Looks like parts of our cars are already in the smokes. Silvera now switching out for a pit stop. So is Reeves. Rivadero also asking for a pit. And then we have Chu coming in next. Jorge also on the pit signal. Davis going ahead despite the fact that she's down to 31% on tires. And Amachi also driving through, actually pushing her tires even further. Not exactly a good sign for our drivers here. And now there goes Perez going 8th into the pit lane. Vossou will grab some points from that. And he's currently on the lead, but we'll definitely have to switch him out soon. Go for super softs again. Can't really fix these parts. Dang it. We'll just have to hope that the parts don't suddenly cause any issues. Perez actually manages to jump ahead of some of the drivers, and she is now currently at 5th, just behind Chu, exiting the pit lane. Gotta push the heat up a bit, just so he doesn't lose out on the tire wear there. Well, he's already down to 7%, so we can just get some gaps, put him in the pit lane, and then get the hell out. I'm sure at balanced tires he'll be able to last a bit longer. Though he will lose some points, unfortunately. Keep the tires conservative. Now we got Perez at 4th, just behind Chu. Up front, Silvera and Reeves once again rolling it heavy. Looks like Davis has some issues, and she is in backup mode for some reason, despite the fact that he's got a good chance to take over Perez's spot. Neutral that up. Is a little too weak on the drive. Vossou having trouble at 8th. Stromby well ahead of her. No, Stromby's just in front of him. The one well ahead is the other Ozu driver, Amanchi. Gonna be a bit of a rough patch for Vossou in the back, trying to get back into it. Meanwhile, Perez having a bit of a squish out on the home corner as she's stuck between Chu and Davis. Can she make some points in the straights? Nope, she's having trouble getting past Chu there on the acceleration. Looks like we might have some issues out on speed balance in the long run. And there's the issue with the tires as well. Vossou has managed to get past Stromby, and he is now going in an overtake. Looking at Amachi, who's now 10 car lengths away from him. Perez Perez isn't just having trouble, she is starting to struggle. 2 laps behind Chu, and now the gap is rising even more. And now we got fastest lap for Vossou. Perez has gone down to 5th, thanks to Davis actually pushing things up. She might lose to Stromby out here. It's going to be a really bad sign for our French driver. She's now down to 6. Amachi has jumped ahead of her. Looks like we'll have to switch her out to super softs by the end of this segment of the race. She's now down to 7th. Vosu has jumped ahead of her. Vosu unable to keep it in, and now Perez is trying to defend herself from her teammate. Interesting switch out over here. Oh, that doesn't look too good. Hang on, let me check something real quick. I got something on my news feed that's worth looking at for a moment. So how's it gonna go? With Perez currently having trouble working it with the soft tires, it's going to be Vosu pushing us ahead of here. But it looks like Perez is trying to play a bit more defensive, even with her teammate. And there's Davis blocking Vosu, but giving enough of an elbow room for Perez to jump ahead. And there's Perez, no, Vosu and Davis having a bit of a fight in the back. Now we're starting lap 16th, and Vosu is complaining about having to overtake his teammate. Silveira and Reeves still up front. We might be unable to get our sponsor's objective unless we actually get lucky. Now, Amachi still blocking things up there, and Silveira and Reeves are well ahead of the pack. Hang on a second, I need to check something. Amachi really doing some excellent blocking there in the slow corners, even though there's a lot of space for overtaking, and now we got another switch up between Vosu and Perez. Tires are starting to get real cold. We gotta push it up a bit. But her tire wear is also pretty low, 48%. Vosu might have to conserve its tires down a bit as well. Ooh! With this in the way, looks like Vosu might have to concede as well. 13 laps to go. Our drivers are still pretty much up on the top. Oh, Reeves! Reeves has finally switched out pretty early. Switched out a little too early there, and now Chu has gone to 2nd because of that. Perez still trying to stay up front, but Amachi is having none of it. Vosu, meanwhile, is getting a little too sloppy because of the switch tires. Maybe we'll have to keep him in neutrals then. Starting to struggle a bit with the tire wear is a bad note from Perez. We've still got 2 laps to go before we can switch out our drivers. So here's hoping we can actually stay there. Oh, Engelhardt switched out early as well. Uh-oh, dodgy parts. What's the condition on that one? Front wing and engine are nearly out. I think we can still keep our drivers up there. We'll have to give Perez a bit of a rest on the driving there. Otherwise, we're gonna... Ooh! Looks like Amachi and Davies are switching out pretty early. And now Vosu gets left behind at 4th as Amachi is driving desperately forward. 11 laps to go here. Now our drivers are up 3rd and 4th, but we'll have to switch somebody out soon. We'll have to push our drivers a bit more and then have them switch out soon. We'll probably do a 21-22 at this rate, just to keep our drivers up. Silveira is still way ahead of everybody. That's not a good sign for us. Fuel seems a bit low, should we back off? That's gonna take a while. Not good. 14 seconds on the fuel line. And the transmission is also in a bit of a pickle. Perez will probably have to concede. And now Vosu has dropped to 5th as he is pretty much going slow. 10 laps to go. Can we at least get to 2nd? Chu still out front. 2 on performance there. We'll have to make do with this. 13 seconds. Okay, let's go for an extra 8 laps. We'll be way behind. And now it's a close one. Looks like we got somebody getting blue flagged here. Oh, that's Balkan? What the heck? Balkan is now blue flagged. Perez unable to get past everybody, mostly because she's suffering from driving issues. Now Vosu has gone out of the road. And he's down in 9th. Perez, meanwhile, going into the pit lanes in 4th. She'll definitely concede her positioning soon. Getting some fuel out as well, but unfortunately that's not going to be fast enough to keep her up. She's now down to 5th. Chu going down as well. Ooh, Perez now ahead. We got parts conditions here. Engine is now down. Can we keep her up there is the question. Engine is now down to 19th. Let's see if we can actually keep her up until the end of lap 30. We're not going to push the driving a bit more unless we want to get some smoke up there. So here's hoping he can keep her position up at least to 7th, while Vosu does most of the pushing up front. We are now down to 8 laps on the fuel line. Can we at least get up back to top 3? We're going to lose some of the sponsor objectives, but we can at least keep our driving up there. If our drivers do manage to keep their setups okay, I don't think anybody else is going to be switching out, but Reeves might be at the rate things are going. We've got 7 laps to go. Reeves is still pushing pretty badly. We can go for neutrals with Vosu. Perez has dropped to 8th. That engine problem is going to be an issue. Let's see if we can push her ahead further. If not, we're definitely going to have to switch her down a bit more. Vosu still having trouble getting past Chu now. Looks like we got Reeves in the pit lane as we go for the laps, for the next 6 laps, but I don't think we can get over him. Oh, we did! Reeves took a while there in the back. Uh-oh. 27%. I think we can still do something about that. The engine has gone down low. She's starting to smoke. I don't like this. No, keep the tires in neutral. Keep everything in neutral. Let's keep Perez in the back for the time being as Vosu is now pushing forward, trying to get past Strambi. We got Amachi and Strambi up front, and Silvera all the way at the top. If we can actually... Oh, no. Bit of dampness for the last 4 laps. No, for the last 5 laps, actually. But I think we can still do okay as long as the other guys have some problems. Perez gets one over Ramsey, but that's not going to be much. As you can clearly see, Ramsey is just out the corner there. Speaking of... Oh, Ramsey's pushing up further. Let's push our drivers a bit. Let's put Perez up a bit while going into blocking mode. Vosu would probably have to work with some extra power here. But we've only got 46% on his tires, and there's still 4 laps remaining, so we have to be a bit conservative with driving that. Perez, oh, Englehart's going for another pit out here. That's pretty late in the game. Not exactly a good sign for the German. Oh, just a bit more. Looks like the Ozu Racing team are showing their chops. Uh-oh, who crashed? He crashed. That's not a good sign. Not a good sign from the newbie, and ZRT is definitely not gonna like that. Is everybody else on call? No, it's only for 49 seconds. Let's try and push it a bit further. Why would you want to pit this late? Are you crazy? 30 seconds. Keep this positioning up as we start lap 28. 3 laps to go. Push it down a bit more driving. Perez is still at 6. Ramsey is still trying to fight him. Or fight her. And now everything is back to normal driving just before Perez jumps ahead. Bosu is still at 4th. Can't get past Strambi. But Strambi is already starting to struggle from parts. As on the other side, we also have issues here. Our front wing, engine, and rear wing are showing some orange markings. Not exactly a good sign. But that should be enough of a help for our drive for Bosu to get along the lane. Perez has dropped to 7th, however, as Reeves gets ahead of her, while Ramsey drops down to 8th for some reason. Bosu is still struggling to get past Strambi. Now there goes. Nope, Strambi is still fighting at the home turf there. Ugh. Not exactly easy for Bosu to get up to 3rd, but with just a couple more runs left, I don't think he'll have an easy time going here. We're down 2 laps. Might have to, well, definitely have to push it down a bit. Tire wear is also starting to be an issue. We'll have to conserve. Hopefully you can keep our drivers here for the last lap. Conserve and high. Last lap remaining. We've only got excess fuel for Perez. Her engine is pretty much gone. Can she hold on? Bosu has dropped down to 4th. His tires are pretty much gone. Probably time to go into overtake. Now, we won't be able to get into top 3 for this one, unfortunately. But at least we managed to keep our positions okay. Perez doesn't seem to be happy about her performance, though, being down in the 7th lane. We'll see how it goes with the chairman after this, however. We did miss getting 3rd, mostly because we had to switch out early. Silveira, though, showing some pretty good start for Octane after their struggle over the last season. Things might be looking up for the Octane Racing team here. How about our end of the line? Currently at 4th and 7th. Not a good start, but not a bad one either. We did have to switch out pretty early, and most of our tire wear isn't too good. We actually missed the fastest lap bonus, despite the fact that we did manage to get 1. Fortunately, the newbie Visa Kuhi starts his season with a pretty bad crash, and he is now down at 20th with 1 point. Balkan, after switching over to race team the Dragon Race Team, is stuck in 19th. Schober drops down to 18th. Mazzoncini, the newbie, also giving Dragon Race Team a bit of a rough run. She's now at 17th. Griffin, after most of his struggles from the previous season, is up to 16th at the start of the 2025 run, while Peclua drops significantly to 15th. Funker, Engelhardt, and Davis, being a bunch of the newer guys, technically speaking, have some pretty good runs here. But the real surprise is Octane Racing with an excellent gap, 14 seconds ahead of Amanch at the start of the season. Despite the fact that he didn't really perform as great as we were supposed to. We still managed to snatch third at the start of the team standings, which should make the chairman a bit happy. It's just kind of sad that we missed the top three. I'm not as caught up on the missing the sponsor objective. It's pretty hard to start to get second unless we got lucky, like in the 2024 season where we managed to get 1-2 thanks to the weather. But things will be a bit rough, especially since we set up pretty poor. We got a pretty poor setup going on in repair, and in performance boost will be a bit rough with the mechanics we have. That's going to be a bit of a drop in morale, though. Happy? Yeah, the chairman will be happy since we got third. Too bad that's not going to be helpful for marketability. And then there's the relationship drop as well. It's going to be a bit of a rough run at this rate. I don't feel confident getting through with this one. Steinman once again showing their performance boost at the start of the World Motorsport Championship, Alex with. Meanwhile, in the Asia Pacific Super Cup, Thornton is getting some pretty gutsy beginnings here up front. The new guys, Vexala, not exactly in a good spot. Esteva and Ganser didn't even get into the upper half of the top 11. The upper half of the top 11. And Santana, of course. Firebird and M-Sprit and S-Sprit actually doing better than we thought they would be. It's still a shame that we missed a fourth there. Now, our car's performance has dropped significantly. I don't think it's going to be okay to continue like this, but we'll see. We could still turn things around for at least a couple more seasons. Third in sponsors, eh? Ooh, serious drops in parts condition there. 57 for Bosu, 62 for Perez. Definitely gonna need a lot of work. And 42 hours to fix everything. That's not a good sign. It'll take them 42 hours to finish that. It means 2 days. We'll have to change some of these guys as well. I hope our team mechanic who's handling this is doing better than I thought he would. Gonna drop 5% a week. What's going on over there? Wait 2 hours to get the cars fixed. How's it looking? 3 days. Sources close to Garuda Racing's Falco Engerhart have whispered to us here at the Evening Herald that the 34-year-old's retirement is on the cards. So that's why he's on the way out. I think he checked out a few months ago, to be honest. This will leave Garuda Racing boss Stephanie Bingham with searching for a new driver to fill the seat for next season, a search which may well have already begun. That's not a good sign for the old guy, I suppose. Ooh, Sport. They got an upfront payment of $450 and a bonus payment of $600, but we need to get center above. They've only got a 3-length deal. 10th or above, 400, but that's going to be four races. 6, 12, 18, 4, 16. Yeah, okay, let's go with play race, I suppose. Play sport, I suppose. They got decent up front, and they technically have better setup for. Even though it's only 3 races, it's 600,000, and if we can keep the sponsor objective above for all 3 the next races that they're with us, we can get more money than sticking with the other team. Right, finishing. Gonna take 24 minutes after the race? Are you kidding me? How long till we get that new set? 3 days before we get the new wing. Not enough time to build the new engine. Not a good sign. Okay, front wing is done. Gonna switch out that part. 2 days before the race. Fill it with the other. 4 hours after the race? Are you kidding me? He's got good pit stops. I'll give him that. But he's not really that fast in building or updating the reliability of stuff, and that's the annoying part. Even though he's got 13 points on reliability, which kind of sucks. Performance is 4. That makes it really slow. They're both really bad on performance. Wait, how about previous mechanics? Where's the scouting section? I need to double check the race mechanics from our previous run was. Yardwood Bridge, he's got performance 6, not exactly a good boost either. Where's the other one? Is it Rachel? No, it wasn't Rachel Edwards. Gibson. Takanabe has a good boost in reliability, but his pit stops are awful. He's also great in parts fixing. Woodbridge had only 4 points on parts fixes. That's a problem. Where was? Oh, it was Samantha Stafford, wasn't it? Yep, it was Stafford. She got snatched up by Valbuena in the Asia Pacific Super Cup. Nakanabe's reliability bonuses would have been great, but his pit stops aren't exactly top of the line. Compare that to our current driver. Okay. Concentration, not exactly that high. He's got good part fixes, though. Reliability, also better. Chemistry, also better. Performance, oh, crap. No, the good thing about Leg is that bigger, uh, she's got a bigger, what do you call it? A bigger, or rather greater, potential. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. She's got greater potential compared to Takanabe, who's almost at the edge of his performance capabilities. Now, if we can only get Leg up a bit higher, at least in the growth area, that will improve her skills significantly. Greater chance that she can grow faster than Takanabe can at this rate. And well, there's the fact that Takanabe's already pretty close to the end of his capabilities. So we're going for the long run with Leg here. Hopefully she can at least stay with us for longer. Takanabe hasn't been signed up by anybody though. He's got a boost for pit stopping and sweet spots. Oh, this is for qualifying, not for time practice. Yeah, this is useful for the next season. but not too much into. Oop, whoops! I forgot. I forgot. Dang it! Wait. The engine will be used for Dubai, right? Okay, so if we can't build the engine for the next season, let's go, or for the next run, I suppose. Go with building it here now. That's gonna be a lot still. Scouting. Somebody on the scout list. That's going to be Benji Pratton, one of the weakest drivers. He has a decent amount of potential, which would help us see some improvement in the skills. He's pretty consistent, but he is having trouble focusing. Let's see. He's currently enlisted by Equip Miles. Is that how you read it? He's got excellent cornering and good adaptability, but his smoothness and focus are definitely bad sign. He's also not that much in terms of fitness. But there it is, a 5-star setup there. Too bad he's with an endurance company, so he can't really run that up. Let's see if things will do well. Lemon? Who is that? Helipad. What's he asking for this time? There's 2 of them. We have... Okay, Isabel Itzo would be a below average driver. Potential is good though, and given the chance to improve, she can certainly become one of the better drivers. She's good at cornering, but she has issues with adaptability, which means she will suffer significantly in the wets. Not good in terms of personality traits. Leroux competition. Competition. Which team is it? Oh, that's an endurance team. Munich, once again, looks like we're going to be doing a 2-stop race for this one. 29 laps, 272 miles, lap record 1 minute 22. There's likely to be some rain during the race, with Sunday showing a 40% chance. There are plenty of low-speed corners in the circuit, which will be great for cars with excellent wings like us, apparently. Okay, good on the helipad. David Kustrup would be a low-quality driver, but he has a decent amount of potential. He's consistent, but he struggles with braking. Not exactly a good sign when... Wow, there's absolutely no boost on braking there. Well, mostly because Milan isn't exactly one that requires a lot of stopping and all. Just married. Marriage over there. Okay, 3 more days. The engine won't make it. We'll have to use it for Dubai. Steinman still... Wait, what? Steinman? Ooh, so that's what happened. Steinman seems to have completely gone Japanese, as both their both their drivers are now Japanese nationals, with Naito taking over the number 2 car by the looks of it. So Sanjay Modi for Windsor Racing. Leivelainen is still in 4th. Lavoie is now his teammate, so that's a different one. Calendar. Car. 5 days. It's all, the race is in 3. We won't be able to build anything. We wasted 2 days. Annoyingly. Okay, what's on the roundup? Looking like the team to beat, with most of the technical experts around the paddock tipping the Japan-based team to win. Silveira, though, will be hoping to follow up her win in the last race with another victory here, but her car is likely to struggle. Insiders at the factory told us that we don't really have a great car from Munich, to be brutally honest. Dragon Race team once again at the back. Just a good chance to pick up some points at least, but I don't think they're having a good time right now. Norman Mazzottini, one of the newer guys for driver racing teams. Oh no, she's out of shape, and well, she's a single-seater expert at least. But that's definitely not looking too hot for her spot. Now we're in Munich, and reliability work is done just as we're ready. Margarita Costa da Silva will be fairly decent. The good news is she has a huge amount of potential, and improvement could become a real star. Her quality is her focus, but she hates chasing. She'll need to be out front if you want to get the most out of her. Well, not like we can worry about it too much since she's currently signed up to Russian Oil. Pretty young talent at that. Enduro driver, huh? Tough spot that. What else is on the news? Still got a lot more scouting to go with. You should look at other designers as well. Gautier Diaz, unemployed. Ooh, 2 reds there. No work for the front wings, no work for the gearbox. Excellent suspension though, so that's gonna help. A day and 23 hours, so that's technically 2 days. Oh, the chairman. The job is very secure. The chairman's pretty happy, but race management is down to 17 and dropping significantly. Hmm. Liability is almost done here. I think we can go with this. Performance could probably work up here, but it'll be 11 days after the race. She's not exactly up there right now. We can still boost her up, but she needs to practice. And that's not exactly going to be easy. Right, play sport. The numbers aren't exactly happy. Fine, let's go with Trans-Antarctic again. So, hang on. So do I want to get the higher sponsors, or do I want to go with a lower one? I don't remember. Alright, I think we'll just stick to getting the highest sponsor, even though there's a good chance we'll miss on it. I mean, we could go with Play Sports since they at least give us a, a higher. No, Ambrosia gives us higher points, but we still lose 96,000. If we can somehow get lucky and get at least second, we can get 604,000 back. So here's hoping that actually works. Reliability is going to be an issue for everything, though. Probably have to try this one and then do probably another more or one more leg if we're into it, but I'm not feeling confident. Here's hoping it actually rains. I think we get lucky if there's a bit of rain on the road, despite the fact that all of our drivers aren't exactly adaptable for such wet weather conditions. Downforce, maybe? And I'm in softs. Bubba's gonna be in mediums. Estimated lap boost 13 of 15. Okay, let's practice. Push them both too high. Let's see how things go from here. Oh. Exiting the pit lane on softs. We've only got 12 minutes to get things done. I don't think the setup knowledge is going fast enough, though. Not exactly a good sign for both of our drivers. I'll push it further up into the envelope. The edge of the envelope, rather. A lot of corners. I don't think that's going to be good for our drivers with our current setup. We'll definitely have to switch it out a bit more. Handling is spot on, apparently. We'll have to see if that actually translates to both of them. Superb handling, huh? I do not feel confident about that. Everything still seems to be okay on their first lap out. Now they're 1-2 with Vosu on top. Just a couple of 0.67. Alright, looks like Bukolova needs some downforce boosts. Vosu not complaining about downforce so far, so that might be a good sign on his part, yes? Oh no, he needs downforce boosts as well. Looks like we need to adjust the front wing as is the usual. Downforce and speed balance are awful. So a bit more downforce. Get a balance, I guess. Oversteer, make it a bit more softer, maybe? Hang on. Okay, let's go for more oversteer, which means we make the car a bit softer, so it'll go down to 50, keep everything up at this rate. Let's see how well... Ooh! Perez actually has excellent handling right now. So what we need is more downforce. A little bit acceleration. So, a how about more acceleration and drop the tire pressure a bit? That's the minimum tire pressure we can go with. Okay, let's keep it at this. Let's see if anything changes. Too bad it's a bit of a stack up since they both complain about that. Now we've spent at least the past minute just to get everything fixed up, and we're now down to 7% on practice. We still have not reached race trim level 2 at least. Not a good sign. The setup knowledge is now almost in high for Vosu. There might be a good sign as we now go to the last 6 minutes of practice. Race trim still nowhere near level 2 levels. Okay, nice tweaks to the downforce. We're still on top in the sheets. Not exactly a good sign. We need to get better than this. Area is feeling so much nicer now. Not exactly what I wanted. I wanted something better in the results screen. Right, boss 2 is almost at high setup level. 4 minutes in. Now we hope that translates to good race stream bonuses as well, as we only got 4 minutes left in practice. Been a pretty dry practice so far. Not exactly a sign of that 40% precipitation that the team managers are saying in the pre-race briefing. Still could do some more work here. I'm sure they can handle it. We're pushing into the limit. Only got 2.5 minutes left. Race trim is still below half of level 3. We gotta go faster than this, boys and girls. That's the sector for Bukalova. Speed balance feels much better. I'd feel much better if we actually get race trim level 3 now, as we only got 1.5 minutes left. 1.5 minutes, rather. Now it's the last minute. Can we get it there? I don't think so. Just keep driving. Just keep driving. Now they're exchanging speed ups there. Bukalova and Vosu switching spots. Bukalova is now on top. Vosu down a second. We've only got... I don't think I'm gonna make it. Missed it again. Come on, I just need that to be... Ooh! Lucky! We managed to get it to level 3. Bukalova's still on top. It's a convincing gap in the timesheets there. Wonder if that's going to translate to anything in the actual race, though. As remember, in the previous stage, we actually dropped significantly from the original time, so... Dragon Race team not exactly getting good development on their car again. Rebecca Reeves is currently driving with Zampelli Engineering, and she's gone pretty well. Driver in mechanic chemistry, not exactly looking too good for us. Flo was definitely feeling happy about that practice session. Hopefully that'll help Perez do well here in the actual race. Remember, it's a 2-stop race, so we're going to do 10, 20 maybe? Extreme level 3, soft tires. Still no comparable parts there. Race trim, medium. Car setup. Wow, seriously? No wonder. Well, we can go with this, hopefully. Keep everything as they are, and then just keep them in softs. Fuel options still pretty decent. Perez, Perez, meanwhile, will have to switch out to medium so we can give her some performance boosts. Though we can also, no, I think we can keep her in soft, switch her over to mediums for the next lap, and then go crazy at the last run with softs again so that we can have some more pushing there. We can probably go for high engine mode now. Kohi for ZRT and then Colin Balkan, Dragon Race team all there in the front. Manchi and Silvera still ahead. Wait, what? Amachi is currently top of the pops? Seriously? But Silvera was the one that... Ah, I get it. Must be because of the... Must be because of the... What do you call it? Fastest lap bonus. Alright, here we go. And there go the lights. Away we go. Ooh, good acceleration from Perez there, jumping her ahead of Ramsey just outside of the starting grid. Vosu, meanwhile... Oh! Out of bleeding nowhere, Vosuj rockets ahead into 12th. No thanks to, or thanks mostly to Perez doing some excellent defending, keeping most of the lower half in place. And it looks like we got somebody out on the dirt. It's again somebody running wide in Munich. Rivadero running wide at the starting chicane here in Munich, putting Archer BMR again on the low ends. Now we need to see if our drivers can actually do something out here in the traffic jam that is the Munich corner line. Ooh, Perez drops down to 15th. Not exactly a good sign for her. Meanwhile, Vosu is now ahead of Davis, jumping up to 11th. Amachi is now in 15th. Perez down to 16th, suffering from some serious issues with her car for some reason. Now we're starting lap 2 with Amachi at the fastest lap, but Balkan is up front. Still a bit of a center line there. Ooh, Amachi jumping up to 12th, taking advantage of the chicane traffic jam. Now Vosu has to worry about being behind one of the faster Ozu Racing team drivers. Meanwhile, Perez has jumped, or has been jumped over. Overjumped, that is. Now, what do we want to do here? Perez is still dropping significantly in terms of speed, despite the fact that she's running on softs. Stromby is now ahead of Perez. Meanwhile, Vosu has jumped over Engelhardt, and he's now in 10th. Doing pretty nicely for our drivers here. Now we're starting lap 3. Vosu still at 10th. Perez stuck at 18th. Vosu showing some really aggressive cornering there, but just can't get past Clark Smith on the tight squeeze. Stromby has gone down to 17th as Reeves gets ahead of him. Amachi's still at 12th. Having a bit of a fight with... Ooh, excellent chicane overtake from Vosu there, taking over Clark Smith. Clark Smith getting her revenge right after, however. Or his revenge. Now it's a bit of a 1-2 there on that series of corners. Vosu still at 10th as we start lap 4th. On the left, the 4th lap, that is. Couldn't keep it to go at 9th before hitting the start-end line. Perez has somehow managed to climb up to 16th, however, and that's going to be helpful for her points. Ozu still showing their chops, that is. Things might be looking up for most of the lower-end drivers here, but it's only lap 4, so there's still a lot of racing to go. And we'd be probably surprised at how things could go once we hit the home stretch. Rebecca Reeves, threatening Perez is here. Could it be a bit of a tight... Ooh, there goes Reeves out of nowhere, getting his 16th spot out of Perez again. Looks like Chu will have a bit of a breathing... Oh, it's a girl. It's Lady Driver Reeves. I thought it was one of the guy drivers I saw on the list earlier. Vosu still stuck in the back at 10th as we start lap 5. Not exactly a good sign for him. Perez still driving pretty decently, but could need a change soon. Now she's down to 19th as Silvera, the winner from the previous leg, has gone ahead of her. Strambi still at the back, switching over to medium. Might need some more work here. Definitely no change up front as Balkan and Mazzoncini are currently 1-2 Dragon Race Team, but they're pushing their tires a bit too much. Vosu currently at 62% on his tires, pretty much good for endurance here. But now Amachi is threatening his position as the Australian has worked her way up from the rest of the crew as we start lap 6. Clark Smith and Lapiclua switching up 9th over there, and Amachi gets her fastest lap bonus. Perez managing to get back up to 18th thanks to a mistake by Silveira, but her tires are now really smoking and she's down to 48%. Up front, everything is still pretty much dry. Vosu still at 10th despite the fact that he's been pushing pretty hard. But Beklua has now... Clark Smith has now jumped over Funker. Ooh! Amachi getting 10th right on that slow chicane and blocking Voss's attempt to get back at it in the home turn. Meanwhile, Perez has jumped over the German Engelhardt, and she's now 17th, but that might not last long, especially in the next corners or so. Lap 7. We'll definitely have to send Perez back in for a tire change before or probably after lap 10th. Meanwhile, Vosu has managed to take over 10th again after Amachi seems to have struggled a bit on that long turn to the right. Perez stuck behind Rivadero now. Oof. Vosu couldn't keep his 10th place position up for long again, having trouble with the slow corners as we now start lap 8. What happened there? Oh. Perez still has some decent tire wear at least, and the temperature is still pretty decent, so we can probably keep her until at least the end of lap 10. Speaking of, Funker seems to be in a switching out position already. Pretty bad stop for the, not the Danish flag? No, that's not the Danish flag. Vosu still stuck at 11th, but could get a chance to jump up to 10th here as soon as Funker goes for... No, that's not Funker, is it? No, it's still Funker, and he's still asking for a pit change. But it looks like he's the only one who's going for it. At the start of lap 9 now. Perez has dropped to 18th. Wait, what? Oh, that's a lot of people switching out. Vosu is now in 7th, but Beklua, who's well ahead of her, is pretty much, what, 10, 15 car lengths away? Not exactly a good sign for our driver. And to add insult to injury, she's driving in backup mode even, which should be a speed drop for her actually, but it's not actually affecting her acceleration much. To be fair, Vosu was running on a setup that's not exactly up to par with most of the drivers, so... Right, here we go. We are at lap 10, 20 laps to go. We can probably send Perez out now. Or no, not at the... Let's send her at the start of the next lap. Switch her over to mediums. Get her at least 2 extra fuel laps. And nope, the parts don't need to be worried about too much. Tire wear is getting pretty bad. I think we can still keep him up until at least lap 11th, and then we'll switch him out. Perez has dropped down to 12th as Engelhardt gets ahead of her. Don't forget, we're not stacking him. Ooh, tire wear is pretty bad on that side of things. As Perez is probably going to drop to 14th at this rate. "19 laps to go. Everybody else is still rolling. No need to switch the fuel out, I think. Hopefully, Vosu can still run at a decent rate after this. Ooh, Perez has dropped down to 14th now. Rather, make that 15th. Or no, she's going to drop further as everybody else has gone ahead of her. She's now at the tail end. Meanwhile, Vosu is going down significantly in the steps here. He's now at 5th still. Looks like Beklua will get a couple of laps ahead of him as he goes for a tire change. Quick switch there, but that's going to drop him a bit to 8th as everybody else has jumped off. Ooh, he's still at 6th. Looks like most of the other leaders are pretty much still in the back. Might be a good time for Perez to make some time. Nope, she's still in the back here. A lot of work on her side. How about we keep her conservative? No. She can last for long. We can switch her out as soon as we're able. Bosu still at 6th. We got some pretty heavy switch outs up front. Lapiclua, Chu, and Reeves on long. Looks like Chu and Reeves are having trouble getting some runs up. Looks like they got parts issues pretty early here. As we start lap 13, Bosu is now at 3rd. Engelhardt and Stromby up front. Engelhardt, 1.5 seconds behind Stromby. Perez still working on getting back into the race. Would have some trouble doing so, mostly because she's not... Ooh! She got ahead of Reeves for some reason. Something happened in the pit lane that really got Reeves up back. Perez has set a personal best for Sector 1 on that race. Meanwhile, Vosu still rolling up heavy. Only 10 laps left on his fuel tank. As we start lap 16, we got Engelhardt in the pit lane. Wait, Engelhardt was in the pit lane? I didn't see him. Oh, he's stuck there. He's just coming out. Griffin is now ahead of Engelhardt on the box. Stromby still up ahead, 15 seconds ahead of the nearest competitor, which happened to be Vosu. Vosu Racing Team definitely showing their chops here. But we need to work some more somehow. We didn't get the work done stiffly, so we can at least get through here. Stromby can still keep the drive up for another lap, I think. No, he's already asking for a switch up. Perez is 33 seconds behind the race leader. Maybe you shouldn't have given her the extra fuel already, but well. Now, Vosu is up front at the start of lap 15. 15 laps to go still. Stromby is now down at 11th. Perez couldn't take advantage of that, though, as she will stay at 19th. But at least she's now with a pack. We're only 4 seconds ahead of Griffin, who's starting to really push things up on his side. Hang on a second, let me just check something real quick. Bossir still pretty decent on the runs, but he's now down to 70% on his tires, and we've still got 16 laps to go. No, 14 laps to go after this. At least we can probably change somewhere around lap 21 at this rate. Perez, though, is still at 19th. We might have to give her softs again, as Funker has now gotten... Well, Funker is still switching around with really Vedetto out there in the back. Oof. Definitely need a lot of work for our drivers there in the back. Ooh! Rivadetto dropped a bit. Now Perez is up to 18th, with Funker still ahead of her. Silvera is 16th. No, Silvera and Lapaclua having a bit of fight. Now Perez is up front. What the heck's going on? A lot of trouble here in the slow turns. Bosu still driving at front. 13 laps to go. Lap 17th. He's still at 57% tire wear. Tire heating also pretty decent, so I think we're okay on that front, but we need to balance it properly. Perez is now defending from Silvera, but Silvera is right there. Lapaclua is also ahead of her, and it's a pretty tight squeeze in the back. Now the question is, should we push Vosu a bit further, or should we let his tires rest a bit so that the tire wear is balanced? Perez is now down to 16th, with Silvera pushing ahead of her. Ow. 7 seconds ahead. Looks like Griffin has to pit. A little too early, but I think he's going for endurance over speed now. Everybody else, looks like Silvera is still ahead of her. Ooh, Perez is now up to 16 thanks to Griffin switching out. They're only down 48% on tires. Probably, no. We want to conserve things. Balkan is now 17 seconds behind Volsu, so I think we can conserve it a bit more, but now... Keep it in neutral, I suppose. We only have to switch out to... If we can keep this gap for at least 2 more laps, we can do probably a 30... No. The fuel is the issue. That's the problem. We'll probably have to switch out a bit early. Hope that the fuel can last for longer. And then push our drivers in. Now we've only got 11 laps to go. Still got 40% on those tires. 18% ahead of Amachi. But Amachi is still going to be 1 point ahead of our drivers. We'll have to switch her out at the end of this lap. Fuel won't be able to last. 14th? Hang on a second, what's up on the news? Oh, I see. 13 seconds on fuel. Is there a chance that we might... There's a 10-second... High risk of error, I suppose. 26% error chance, but we could probably try and push that ahead. Just need to switch out around here to start lap 10. And Perez will have to switch out after this instead. Everybody else has gone for endurance on the back there. Mostly so they can outlast the people who will switch out this lap. Bossu is definitely going to lose his 18-second lead. I can feel it. Oh, he completed that nicely. No errors on his part. But he's going to lose a lot of spots, unfortunately, as we start lap 9th. Now it's a 1-2 for both of our drivers. We got 9 laps to go. I'm sending Perez in now, and she's going to be switching over to softs. Five laps, parts no condition there. Switch and keep it at fast. Let's go. Let's see if we can actually get our spots back. Stambi, Schober, Chu, Amachi all up front. Trying to push Perez a bit, as Vosu is going to have to work his way back up. Thankfully, his speed is still going to help him, but if we could... What? Parts condition... Ooh, the front wing is now down to 29%. I think we can still drive it decently. It's only 29% after all, and it's now 8 laps to go. Vosu now back up to 8th. The guys up front still pretty decent as far as tire wear is concerned. Perez drops to 15th because of that pit lane. Now she's down to 16th. Oh, we gotta soften up the tires now. Conserve the tires, keep the drivers up pushing. Now Vosu has taken over, allowed the Clue a 7th place spot just before the home corner, and we've got 7 laps to go. Where's Perez? Is she still in the... Okay, she can still roll, I think. Looks like we got some switch outs as well. Amachi, Shover, and Davis had to go for a pit stop, and we got Balkan, Stromby, and Engelhardt up front still. Engelhardt, however, is now down at 19%, and he's going for a switch. Meanwhile, Stromby is still pretty decent at 32. He's pushing really hard here, and Balkan is down to 30%, and he's trying to keep his car in the rolling. Bosu has a chance to get his first place spot back, but his parts have to survive the next 6 laps. It's going to be a bit of a grueling race, and it's definitely going to be a nail-biter. 6 laps to go. Fuel is still pretty decent for both our drivers, I believe. Vosu is now up to 3rd as Engelhardt is gone. Stromby and Balkan still rolling. Stromby decides he will continue driving, but he's now down to 25% on his tires, and it might be a bad sign for the Ozu veteran. Yep, he's going for a switch. Very late switch here, in fact. Meanwhile, Balkan is still driving at 24% on his mediums. Pretty confident driving. Meanwhile, Perez stuck behind Chu for 2 laps now, and she's already complaining. Koi drops his position to Schober, while Ramsey jumps up to 10th, getting over El Sadat's spot. Amash gets fastest sector again. Now we're up to 2nd, and Balkan is still up front. Lalpeklua also goes for a pit stop. Looks like she's got some issues with her car. And now 5 seconds ahead is Balkan, who might be able to last till the end of this race with just the mediums. Meanwhile, Perez has jumped up to 12, taking over Chu's spot, and definitely giving her a bit of a boost in her... Ooh, that's definitely a boost to her performance now. She's now up to 11th. Now she's down to 12th. Can Balkan lay it in? No! No, this is not a good sign for Dragon Race team, as Balkan is now asking for a pit change. We still got a lot of racing to go here. We could probably conserve a bit. Now it's down to 4 laps on the pit lane. We've Vossir now up front. Perez could probably flee around and get something out of this, if she's lucky. Pushing her up to neutral. She could get ahead of Chu, I suppose, but definitely needs some work done on that side. Things are starting to be cloudy, but that rain is going to be late in the day as Wosu is still ahead. Chu, meanwhile, keeping Perez back in the lane there with some excellent defending on the slow corners. Wosu now 10 seconds ahead of Reeves, who might need a change in tires as well. Now we're entering lap 27. 3 laps to go. 52% on tire wear. 4 laps of fuel for Wosu still. Perez has a good chance of getting at least back into the top 10. Yep, she's now at 11. Still behind Chu. Oh, we got parts problems. Front wing looking hard. Uh-oh. Ko-hee suffering mechanical issues this time. Not exactly a good sign for the newbie driver. Or the new driver, at least, for ZIT Autosport. Perez is just looking around the corner. Could be a chance for her to jump into top 10 at this rate. We can probably relax a bit up front. We've only got 2 laps to go, and we still have a 15-second gap ahead of Amachi. But Amachi is getting closer. So if things stay as they are, we're going to have to keep her pushing. I think the front wings will have to hold it until the last 2 laps of the race. Ko-hee has switched out for a pit at a very crucial time, and he is definitely out of the running. Meanwhile, Perez has jumped up to 7th. That's going to help her a bit, but she definitely needs a little more push. Bosu probably have to push a bit more on the tires while we lower down on the pushing on the engines as we enter the final lap. Perez definitely in a good spot here. We can push our tires just a bit. Oh, are we in the home stretch or not? Chu managed to get over Ramsey, and now Ramsey is blocking Perez from getting past getting out of the top 10. Now Engelhardt is looking to get 10th as well. Oh yeah! Oh no, champagne time. And now Perez has jumped to 9th. Can she at least get something out of this at the last second and go into 8th? Nope, she's stuck at 9th on a photo finish. Couldn't get past Chu at the last second. But nonetheless, that's gonna help her get some points up. Hopefully. Bosu definitely will be celebrating in the paddock for that absolutely dominating finish. 14 seconds ahead of Amachi, pretty much payback from the loss in the Black Sea. He's definitely going to be happy about that setup. Good run for Bosu there. Keeping everything in soft. Perez, despite the fact that she had to switch over the mediums for the middle of the pack, still managed to keep a good run up, and she finishes the race at 9th, but could definitely have gone better if we were a bit more aggressive at the end. Dropping her down was definitely not a good sign. Davis actually scoring fastest lap bonus and getting an extra point despite the fact that she's back up in the 18th there. Amachi up at 2nd, and Schober rounds out the top 3. Schober was already 3rd from the start of the race, so she just managed to keep her spot in. Perez jumps 5 points from her starting point, while Jacob Vossou jumps over 16th to win the Munich Grand Prix. One of the rare first race wins for Watson Industries so far. Alm is definitely going to be happy about that. That excellent push puts Watson Industries' #1 driver at Vossou at 2nd, just 3 points behind Amachi, while Perez gets a jump up to 6th. Excellent push there. Strambi still at 3rd. Chu, though, thanks to that better performance, is now up to 4th, taking over Silvera's spot, who's now down to 5th. Reeves drops down to 7th. Meanwhile, Cole He, going 1-2 in problems so far in the season, is down at 20th with just 2 points. The only one single-digit racing points so far in the run-in. That excellent performance has given us 10% jump to 2nd with 10 points behind Ozu Motorsport. Good sign for our team so far, despite the fact that we did make errors in the preseason. Oh, Watson Industries PR working to get some fans back into the fight there. Gazzetta dei Motori Lisa Marossi showing us some notes from Archer BMR that they're still having issues with investment in the car. The podium, that's Vossou, Amachi, and Schober. An incident-packed race, in fact. A lot of problems with a lot of the cars here, mostly because the reliability is awful at the start of the season for the European Racing Series. Maybe in the Asia-Pacific Super Cup, things will be a bit easier, but let's not think about it until we get our road car factory rolling. Well, much as I'd like to go for another run, I think that is a good time as any to call it in, but, well, it's more like I'm not too confident that we can actually run better. But I feel like it's just a good time to call it in on a good note. Ooh, driver morale dropped a bit. At least the relationship with the mechanics. No, her relationship with Adam Colleen dropped further. There's a bit of boost in relationship with Jessica Legg, though. Jeremy's now very happy and looking forward to some stuff there, but the marketability is still down. Car, drivers, race mechanics, there's designer, HQ upkeep, HQ building, HQ income, global motorsport, travel costs, sponsor boost, managers, financial skills, pit crew. Where's the bonus? I guess it's in the HQ upkeep and no, it's race mechanics. Purchase. Meanwhile, in the Asia Pacific Super Cup, Navarro continues his domination as he gets another first. And he even gets a pole position bonus on top of that. For 52 minutes. What are they driving in those cups? Pedal cars? 1 hour just to finish a lap? That's gotta be torture to watch. While Buchalski's scoring a second, and now she's up second in the driver's standings. And Ines Santa Ana, the veteran, is up to third for Rosato Corsa, but that's not enough to put her up on up on the points as well. This is her first point for the season, and she is stuck at fifth. Rounding up the top three on the championship standings is Nightingale for Esprit, who did get second in the previous leg, but she didn't get anything this run. She is at 11th, actually. Not exactly a good spot there. That's our spot right there. That's our boy right there. Engine is built. I'll have to queue that up for a bit. Hang on. Impressive lap time there. Car condition dropped significantly, though. 46 and 45, but that's better than last time, at least. Okay, let's see what we got. No, let's drop Octane Racing's marketing. It's always marketing. I'm not too good with morale. I don't think they're gonna love the morale drop. We broke our previous record for the pit stop. Excellent work, guys. There's no mistakes, but the simulated stop times are slower than what I expect. Might be worth swapping. Yeah, I'm leaving that to our pit crew chief there. Now we finished the engine. We can... who do we want to give this one? It's an average engine, so I think Perez will love using that. Gotta increase reliability on that. And then get a new engine. Now, speed and reliability, I'll go for that. And increase reliability in red zone? No. 17 days. 1 day before race. Not exactly a good spot. Increase top speed and reliability, but go up for 2 days, or increase the reliability by 50%, but also increase the red zone. Well, let's go with this. That's gonna eat the numbers though. 27,000. Pit crew, please tell me my scout. Ooh, front jack and the rear jack. Not exactly. He's burnt out already. What the heck, man? Hang on, let me just switch him out. I need somebody with a good rear jack that's not burnt out. Okay, switch him out. Then let's go back to auto manage. Numbers still seem decent, at least. I guess that's it for the day, though. Thank you so much for dropping by. I know it was a bit short. We only did 2 laps, but I think I'd like to call the... I'd like to end the test of the career on a good note. And to be honest, it wasn't supposed to be a long run to be for today. I was just planning to check, or I was just testing if the things actually work. Otherwise, I might have restart it. But so far, we're actually doing better than expected, even though our mechanics are a bit questionable in the long run. At least the pit crew is doing decently. And the reliability isn't so bad, so I can handle that. Now, everything else, though, is going to be a bit of a problem. So hopefully, if we continue this, it won't be as bad, and we still get some income, or at least enough income to finally invest in the road car factory. Still need that extra money for production after all. Hopefully we can get some more points for Perez though, so we can at least jump up a bit higher in the drivers, not the drivers saying the team standings. Just high enough to avoid promotion, but pretty high enough so that we can meet our set up season season goals for the rest of the year. Anyway, if you got any complaints or violent reactions about the stream tonight, please do not hesitate to drop me a line on my Twitter or my Pixiv. If you got a hankering for the older Motorsport Manager streams that have already expired here on Twitch, or you just want to check out the other the other VODs that also expired that are not Motorsport Manager related, please do not hesitate to click the About tab of my profile. Click the VOD archive linked on the About tab of my profile page, or search it on YouTube under Twitch. Search it on YouTube under the same username, Lurk at Work. That's work with a W and a U. Speaking of which, if you're currently checking the VOD, thank you so much for dropping by. I hope you enjoy this fairly short racing stream. Not exactly super exciting, but at least we did manage to get some things done. I do hope you at least drop by for a spell on when we're doing some live streams, so I can say hi to you personally. But it's all fine if you're staying in the VOD gang area. I do hope you still stay for the next set of VODs to show up. Hopefully, we can do some streaming on YouTube as well. Just need to work up building credibility and all that. Anywho, speaking of my profile page, you've got a friend who might be interested in the stuff I stream or who just wants to complain about PNG streamers in general, please do not hesitate to share my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/lurkatwork. That's all from me for now. Tomorrow, I'm not too sure what we're going to go with, though. Could be another Motorsport Manager run, or we could come back to the Rillard Remastered Ally campaign. It is, after all, almost done, to be honest. I'm not too confident I can actually get through with that, but still. We'll see. Just keep an ear out on the socials for that. For the time being, though, like work is RTV. I suppose you still might want some. You still might want some. What do you call it? Some. You still might want to do some more stream watching. So if you're still in the mood for that, I can probably send you over to. Let me double check if they're okay with this. Yep, I can send you over to some guys who are currently doing a tabletop stream. The system is about apparently Monster of the Week. It looks like they're doing some fancy tabletop stuff for that. So if you're in the mood for that, I'll send you over for now. But if you're heading out for the night, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Good night for those who are heading out, and hang tight for those who are about to be sent over for the raid.